Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer, and we are starting a new series today for Hearts of Iron 4 with the Kaiserreich mod. The Kaiserreich mod, of course, is the mod, is an alternative history mod where Germany has won the First World War and is now in a little bit of economic crisis, but Europe has changed dramatically, and pretty much the world has changed dramatically. Instead of the Soviet Union, you have the Russian Republic. Instead of Nazi Germany, you have the German Empire. France has become more or less communist. We can talk about what that means exactly. But yeah, it's a very different world. And we are today going to play as the German Empire. So we had a couple of games in this mod already. We had a nationalist run in India, and we had a communist run with the UK. Today I want to try a run with Germany. And we're going to do something special here. So firstly, I want to turn Germany, the German Empire, into something more of a democratic institution. More of the European Union approach, if you will. But secondly, and more importantly, since we do think that war is coming on, because this is Hearts of Iron, what I want to try is a completely strategic approach. So we're going to focus very much on strategic weapons, on strategic bombers, and on submarines. So we are going to try to disrupt the enemy economy. So there's going to be a house rule here. We're not going to use any tanks. We are not going to use motorized infantry. We are going to limit ourselves to infantry and strategic bombers. And the reasoning for that is A, I think it's interesting, and B, I think it would make sense. So Germany, instead of, losing the war and being forced to find new tactical approaches, in this alternative history, I think they might be much more conservative. They think, trench warfare is what is going to stay long, but how can we approach and still win this trench warfare? How can we be better? We need to strike at the enemy, and we might want to do that with strategic bombers. So that's what we're going to try over here, and that is what I'm very excited to try out today. So, I think I need to dial down on the volume here a little bit, but let me do that just briefly. And of course you can pause and read any of that. So first of all, let's go to game options, let's go to audio. I think the master volume here is slightly too high. Let's bring that down a little bit, and maybe the effect volume as well. So there we go. Great. So, this is Germany. Germany is a little bit stronger maybe than it is, at least in its industrial basis, than it is in Hearts of Iron 4, though I don't exactly know in terms of factories. But it is very much, there's no party popularity, it's unstable, there's very little war support. Germany does have a couple of modifiers over here, victors of the Weltkrieg, which means its land doctrine research is very much reduced. There's quenched militarism, so, victory comes at a cost. No one really wants this war. It's a little bit like the Allies after World War One. Middle Europa, so we are leading a faction. We have some, this is going to be irrelevant hopefully, but we do have some dividends at all. So let's look at the world briefly. Of course, we have the German Empire over here itself. We can go to the fractions map mode. You can see the Reichspakt is over there. We've also got a very big colony down here with Middle Africa. And of course we've got the I don't exactly know what that stands for. AOE? Something German? East Asian? I don't know. And we've got Germany East Asia, so this is not exactly us, it's Germany East Asia. So we've got a couple of colonies, a couple of, more or less companies, a little bit like the East Indian Company. Yeah, and we're going to see what we can do. So let's jump ahead and select a national focus. So aftermath of Black Monday, so of course there's going to be a crisis. We could do the imperial restructuring, and that is going to be extremely important. Of course there are various other things. I think I would very much like to get the new textbooks, I think, because that will remove the victors of the Weltkrieg issue, which is going to be a big issue. Of course we'd also like to get into the independent Luftwaffe and more strategic bombers. Navy would be nice, but we're going to start out here with economy, getting a little bit of political power. This is going to be an extremely quick one, and then maybe get to the research slot down there relatively fast, so that should hopefully be okay. Speaking of research, we of course going to go for the standard opening here of industrial basic machinery tools, so that we are producing a little bit more efficiency, effectively. Construction does seem nice to me. And in terms of engineering, we're going to go for mechanical computing, because that is going to increase our research speed. That might prove to be a very nice snowball effect. In terms of air, we do have strategic bombers. We could go for these, but they are very far ahead of time, so I don't think that is the right approach there, so we're going to hold off for that. Doctrine research we're not going to do. We could do some infantry equipment here, I suppose. I don't think, yeah, house rulers, no armor. Maybe a little bit of artillery, but really not that much. Again, no doctrine. So I think what we might want to do here is research basic snorkels for our submarines. That is going to take a while, basically a year. But that should be alright. We are of course going to build a couple of things, and we're going to build a lot of civilian stuff over here, because I think that's you know, what's somewhat appropriate to say, you know, yeah, indeed it would be a sort of civilian factory focused approach. We are the good guys this time, so we are not going to be too elaborate in our attack plans. So I said we want to go for the heavy strategic bomber approach, so let's produce a couple of strategic bombers. They're going to be the main priority over here. We do need probably fighters as well, just to cover our strategic bombers, but I not want to have any close air support. I think we can go by with pretty much no tactical bombers. That we think is appropriate. Naval bombers, we can produce a couple. Light tanks, I do not want to produce. Motorized equipment, we can produce a little bit because we need that potentially for support stuff. So let's keep on producing a little bit of support equipment, some motorized equipment, a little bit of stout artillery is okay, I think. And infantry equipment, do we have some? No, we don't really have any, so we should be producing a little bit in that regard. So yeah, I think that's going to be fine. And then the rest of our production will go and flow into strategic bombers. And that's going to be fine. 3 dockyards. For now, I think it is alright to build up a couple of convoys, and then we're going to improve our submarines later on. Speaking of the Navy, let's pick these guys over here, and we are going to disband all ships that are not submarines. So we are going to be very aggressively focused here on the approach of just, you know, having a submarine-only campaign, and I really just want to try out and see how well that is all working out. Let's lump all of these guys up together. Let's send you out on naval exercises, and I think that should be fine. We do have a couple of decisions that we could do. I don't think we want control of the East Asian guys. Unassigned divisions, yes, all of you guys are part of a new army over here. I do think we have a couple of, I think cavalry is fine, but you know, motorized equipment, that I think is not okay. We do think that the future is simply going to be infantry divisions, and that is hopefully going to be alright. There are more divisions around, mostly now colonies and stuff. Ooh, map is doing its weird thing that it sometimes does. Do we have any more? Yeah, you here. You're also part of this, and I think there was one over here. Yeah, there we go. Anyone else? Yeah, apparently so, in Malta. Oh yeah, Malta is ours. That's nice to see. Insufficient resources, we are missing a little bit of tungsten, but that is fine. Yeah. So, that's basically it. Let's go ahead and start the game over here, because I don't want to bore you guys too long. Right, and there we go. Oh, I guess we should check out our aircraft and basically take these fighters and set out to... we can pause over here for a second and basically set out to be a group of 200. And you guys can train up here as well. Tactical bombers, we do have some, so I think we're going to keep them. Even though, you know, it's not going to be the focus area of what we need to do. Set your limit to be here, and let's have you train up as well. And then what we can do is potentially just delete a couple of the other air squadrons over here. Fighters, I think you all fine as well. I would like you to be trained up over this area. And you know what, I think you might do fine as well. And again, send you here and train you up. That should be okay. Yeah, there we go. Delete this, delete that. Anyone else? Yeah, you need to be deleted. That's basically fine. We've got a couple of fighters here from who'd actually be on the carrier, but you know what? Let's set you guys up as well. Maybe we're gonna use you, because of course we do not have any carriers anymore. Right, so here we go. Accession of President Kerensky. That is, I think, in Russia. So we're going to see how Russia is going to turn out. Constitution of the German Kaiserreich. Yes, yes, yes. You can read all of that. It's basically going to be an interesting ride here politically. Right. We have low manpower, yes we know that. We've got a couple of paint lanes in reserve, that's not too many though, and unfulfilled import requests from Romania. Well, I don't think I appreciate that. Let's do with this here, and I think that should be fine. Let's also keep in mind our U-boat flotilla over here. And I think you're all training up, that's nice to see. You know what, you can split off if you need to. Yeah, there we go. Fine. So that's good. Totalist orders, there we go. Basically the fascists and leftists are coming together and doing stuff. Edward VIII is crowned as King of Britain. Britain, of course, is a very interesting situation because Britain is now communist, or nearly communist. They're at least syndicalist. And they are... Oh, let's wait a second over here. And basically, so they threw out the royalty. The royalty has withdrawn to Canada and some of the other overseas dominions. I think like the Australian Confederation, Union of South Africa potentially. So basically the old colonies. Right. And we are getting some stuff from reparations, which is nice. We are building up a little bit in terms of civilian factories. I think we might want to do a little bit more over here. Let's just do everything basically where we have 70% or more in terms of infrastructure. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, fine with me. Great. And let's also take a couple of these guys over here. What are you? You are the normal infantry divisions. Okay, fine. What are you? You are infantry divisions with artillery. That's good as well. Let's take 4 of these guys and potentially send you back towards these guys. So this is now a proper army. You're going to get a general. I think Manstein is... Ooh, we've got Manstein or Rommel. You're armored officer. You're an engineer, trickster, armor. Brilliant strategist, reckless, war hero, media personality, Ponce leader. What else could you be doing? Fortress buster. That might not be too bad. Or guerrilla fighter, entrenchment speed. I mean, you're very well balanced, all in all. Let's go for Fortress Buster. Oh, I can't because I don't have the points. That's fine though. And you know what? You guys here are going to be on the Belgian border. Belgium is one of our subsidiaries, you might say. One of the areas. I think it's the son of... Yeah, it's Adalbert, the son of the German Empire. Oh, a little bit of money. That's nice to see. National focus completed. There's the Afghan war, and here's Black Monday. On the 3rd of February 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking, it plunged. Fueled by the instability of the market panic, selling erupted as soon as the stock market opened on Monday morning. It took well into the night for the teleprinters to stop sputtering out the results of what became known as Black Monday. When the results had been analysed, it was clear that the situation had only gotten worse. The shock of this unprecedented economic catastrophe will, no doubt, be felt in the entire world. The German Golden Age has ended, for now at last. Mein Gott. So here we go. We are gaining a national spirit that is just catastrophic. Consumer good factories is going to go up, stability is going to go down, production efficiency is going to go down, 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 down. A lot of things are horrible over here. And we need to overcome that. We basically will have to go down this route. For now, I think we're going to go for the additional research over here, since we can't approach the other stuff anyway. But yeah, things are not great. And you guys do have an attack plan like that. Right. So, here we go. What are we to do? We could close the banks temporarily, so basically prevent a bank run, or be a little bit more aggressive and guarantee the holdings of private individuals. Now, on a very personal level, I'm an economist, so I think this is a great idea. Usually, unless you want to do, you want to prevent reckless lending. But you know what? In the 1930s, this would have probably made more sense and reduced a lot of pain. So I'm going to pick that. Basically, the reason is that if for private individuals that this would be guaranteed, we do not need to be too concerned about basically going to the bank to save your money. So, and as more people go to the bank and withdraw the money, the threat becomes ever so clearly, and that's just a game theoretical problem. So, nevertheless, let's have a look at the world over here. The Commune of France is the world leading syndicalist nation. Syndicalist is sort of, if you want a shorthand notification, that is sort of in between socialism and communism, more focused on the labor unions, but a little bit more aggressive than traditional socialism. So yeah, a little bit more communist, I think. Yeah. So France is the leading nation of that, and is, as a federation of the city communes and directed by the Comité de Salut du Public, the chief executive. Ever since its inception, however, the second commune was not uniform in its policy. Numerous factions arose, each one with their own idea of what path France should take. So they are going to be potentially one of our biggest rivals that we can imagine. So we will need to be a little bit mindful about these guys and not have them be too aggressive, basically. All of you guys, can you please go over there so that we are forming a normal army over here? And your defense line is going to be against France, and we can, you know what, cut that down here a little bit, just like so. And there you go. Basically, you go over there and dig in. Thank you. Right, let's basically... Black Week comes to an end, gain base stability. The situation hardly improved in the days following Black Monday, which was the start of what became known as Black Week. Panic selling of stocks reached an all-time high as people tried to dump their stocks before they became worthless. When the Berlin stock market closed at the end of the week, the market was as dead as the 11 major economic experts and top executives in Germany that had committed suicide. The German government had to act. We must reform. So, things aren't exactly great. Our stability is down to 2%. Our war support is not great. Party popularity is sinking. And we have more unfulfilled import requests. So probably we do not want to buy anything right now. Good. Well, that's fine. Modify government. We could modify the head of the military intelligence. But right now I'm a little bit loathsome to do that. Let's basically, by the way, pick all of these cavalry divisions. Send them over there. You guys can merge back up there. That's fine, and you know what, you can get a decent general. Model, I think you are fine and decent as a defensive guy as well. And then you here can get Guderian, maybe? Trickster, Armored Officer. We're not going to get armor, so... Here we go, the Polish monopolies crash. In the wake of Black Mondays, some of our corporate interests in Poland have gone bankrupt. We have now received news that the Polish government, ever irritated at our economic interest in their country, have moved to seize our corporate assets in their country, effectively removing our control over the economy. This is a disaster. So of course, since Germany won the First World War, or the Weltkrieg as it's known in this alternative history, they still own large stretches of Poland, including Danzig, whereas Poland itself seems to be a landlocked country, and of course that's heavily controlled by Germany, as of course it would be in this sort of situation where, you know, it's landlocked, all the major trade would have to flow through Danzig, and yeah, basically they don't have any other avenues of approach that would be available to them. So, we can already start thinking a little bit about what we're going to do here next. So we could go for the extra research funding, which would be great, but I think the most important thing is to go for the aftermath of Black Monday over here, to gain a little bit and replace that horrible modifier that we've got now. So where there's a Black Monday effect here, minus 60% factory output, that is horrible. The Halbstark terror. With the devastating economic situation, many families struggle to earn their daily bread, and the social security net is strained to the breaking point. In recent weeks, the streets of many German cities have been increasingly terrorized by gangs of teenagers. These Halbstarke steal products from the market and shops, and often money from the innocent pedestrians, or commit acts of vandalism to escape boredom and frustration. Few citizens feel safe on the streets anymore, and it is clear that what some in the government might see merely as a low-level civic order instead has the makings of total society breakdown. Yeah, we're now at minus 16% stability. Things are actually pretty horrible over here. Guns from Middle Africa, we do gain a little bit of that, that's fine. Restoration of democracy in Australia, that's okay, it's very far away from us at this moment. Peace deal has been signed, that's nice to see. By the way, can we have a look at our submarines? You guys are training up relatively well, it seems, so that's nice. Financial troubles in the colonies, it doesn't stop. Some maverick politicians proposed distributing more resources to the colonies or to the detriment of the German nation, maybe, which would obviously not be popular. So we could send them a couple of our factories. And they would like that, obviously. I think we're going to go for the middle route over here. So we're only going to cover the most critical expenditures and not everything. More stuff happening. So Treaty of Bucharest officially ended the Belt Creek for Romania, but at what cost? Romania is now dominated by German and Australian industries. Yeah, it's very small. Most of her coastline was annexed by Bulgaria. Yeah, that's also true. And the Carpathian Mountains, separating Romania from Hungary, were put under firm Austro-Hungarian control. Interesting. So they are doing some maneuvers down there, but they're a small country. Death of Pius the 11th, so the Pope is dead. We don't care about that much. Right, we do have a lot of submarines though. 105 submarines. Agricultural crisis in Middle Europa. During the time of great crisis, the complacent agricultural sector of German economy has proven to be particularly vulnerable to the economic downturn. With this in mind, several Junkers, so sort of land nobility, representing the landed nobility of the Kingdom of Prussia, have asked for protectionist legislation and state subsidies for the agricultural production. By imposing tariffs on foreign produce, we will strengthen this vital sector of the Reich's economy and protect our farmer. Unfortunately, such a measure is likely to cause further damage to the economy of our neighbours, dependent as they are on German markets for their food export. The wheat crop in the Ukraine is particularly vulnerable, and choosing to enact protectionist measures. So do we protect that? Gain some political power? Nobody would like it, and they would be getting negative stuff. No, I think we are not going to risk our Middle Europa ties. We are going to be the democratic approach over here, trying to build an integrated Europe and sort of prevent the communist and First International Congress that we are seeing over here between Great Britain and France. So these two are a little bit syndicalist. There we go. The Reds, basically. Other than that, I think most nations are either kingdoms, but it's all very fractured. There's very little coherent strategies, so to say, between all of these nations. Stuff is building up over here very nicely. Good, good, good. How are we in terms of our things? Oh, more stuff, more stuff, more stuff. An unusual case has reached the highest courts in the German state. An anti-colonial activist, Yoma Kenyatta, has brought a class action lawsuit against a former African stadtholder, Wilhelm Solf. The case has become something of an embarrassment, as some of the plaintiffs are veterans of the Weltkrieg. It cannot be easily dismissed. They claim that Solf's administration harmed them through policies of illegal land seizures and even abductions and torture. All done with surface knowledge and little legal basis, quietly the Foreign Office has explained to the government that such things are common and necessary in our colonial administration. They strongly urge we quash that motion. So, what's the worst that could happen? Do we want to break up Middle Africa? That is one of our colonial ties. No, I think we are basically quashing this movement right now. We have our own problems with the economic crisis, so yeah, we are a little bit reluctant to do that. There's the Great Khanate, I think, which Mongolia just joined. Ooh, Communist France shows its true face. The Reds are clearly set to spread a poison, as they demonstrated shown in the last section of the elections. We must be prepared for anything. A little bit more manpower, that's nice to see, and should hopefully help us at least a little bit. Right, all in all, it's funny to see all of these random land forts distributed throughout Germany. Weird. I think it must be one of the consequences of the Civil War, basically. National focus completed. I'm tempted to go for this one, but I'm really hoping that we are capable of overcoming the Black Monday. So let's go for that instead, and do the research a little bit later. It would be good to do it now, but we just can't do everything at the same time. After we've done basic machinery tools, we can do improved machinery tools. It's going to be a little bit early, but most importantly, we're going to need to concentrate on decide whether we're going to go for concentrated industry or dispersed one. I think concentrated is a little bit better. More guns. Mostly because it does give you more factory output. More factory output plus 15% versus plus 10% over here. So yeah, I think that's the better choice over here, and that will allow us to build more strategic bombers. Speaking of, how many are we producing at this moment per day? Not that many, 6 per year. that's horrible. Yeah, but that's mostly I think consequences of other things. Greece seizes German assets. Yeah, we can probably read through that, but I don't think we need to. I think we are gonna apply sanctions over here. Just be a little bit tough. Try to use what we have in terms of our abilities. Right, we do need more fighters definitely, I think. Also more tactical bombers. Well, I suppose I can reduce that by 100. And that should allow these guys here to reinforce a little bit more. Costa Rica. Yeah, let's offer them assistance, why not? Right, and here we are. Suffragist movement gathers some strength. So, do we want to give women voting rights? I think we do. I think we definitely need to do. We are being nice to other nations by that as well. We are losing a lot of political power here, but I think it's worthwhile, especially as we are, you know, we want to be the good guys. We want to be a democracy over here, and we want to spread out the love for everyone and just basically become much more integrated. Yeah, so we are the multilateralists, you know, the guys trying to bring everything back together. Now, let's select the national focus here. We could go down either route. Bail out the Juncker states, which would give us less base stability. And then Investitionsprogramm, which would give us more stability. And factory output plus 45%. Whereas here we get factory output plus 25%. But a little bit more production efficiency cap on the right. Production efficiency growth is higher on the right. But less consumer goods factories. So I think that's the biggest difference. And over here we would be getting another guy, which would be giving us a little bit more political power, construction speed. And we'd be losing 5 core civilian factories. Where here it's only base stability. Down this route we have to sail Ceylon, whereas over here we are approaching Poland. And I think with deepened Polish ties, I think that would be a little bit better. Yeah, let's go down this route. Let's try to bail out the Junkers. It's going to be a little bit longer, but I think a little bit better as well. Speaking of better, I think we can go ahead and do stuff here with at least Manstein. Give you the Fortress Buster ability, because we have some command power. And down here with Jung Model, I think with you, the Guerrilla Fighter wouldn't be bad. So more entrenchment speed, since you are mostly a defensive guy anyway. I think that's a good choice here for you. Yeah, let's go down that route. Then Army 1 can also get someone. I think Rommel is fine. We do need a new army group that all of you are going to be part of. There's a coup in Siam. We are not that concerned about this. Right, and you are all part of this. You know what, you two. And there we go. And we do get a command over here. Rundstedt for... or Ruprecht von Bayern, thorough planner, defensive doctrine. Yeah, that's not bad. Planning speed is a little bit on the low side. As are your capabilities. Von Mackensen. Not that great either, honestly. Charismatic, reinforcement rate. You're not that great. Or Wilhelm von Preußen. You're not that great either. I think either of these guys is a little bit better. You're better at defending, you're slightly better at attacking. You both have this ability, so if you have a little bit more attack, you know what? I think Ruprecht von Bayern here is our guy. And you can do more thing. Either logistics, unyielding defender. All of these are very good, I think. Increased chance of counterattack. That is nice. Creation of international avant-garde. Yeah, let's see when the war comes. So, the Darkeep and its approaching bankruptcy. The Deutsche Kaiserliche Abyssinian Eisenbahn Railway has been established and is running from Addis Ababa to Djibouti. After a series of setbacks, keep it running. Now I think we're going to sell the railway over here and see what that is going to do. Oh, and we do of course have a research slot, since I think we just finished starting researching construction. Let's go to excavation. I think we do have a lot of stuff, and at least the first level does make sense to me. Right, so we've gone through the first half of 1936. Let's see how good we are going to do over here in the future, especially with the production of strategic bombers, of which we don't have that many. How many did we manage to produce? 4. 4 in total. But yeah, of course it's going to pick up a little bit as we are getting rid of some of the negative effects. So, that being said, I think this is a very good place to put it in a card. So do let me know what you think about this new series. And for a new series, it's also good always when you do hit the like button down there, simply so that a couple of people find it, and I know that this is something that you guys would like to see continued. So, thank you very much, guys. See you then. Bye bye.